Taping. Yes, taping. Hi, guys. Welcome back to yoga. Today is day 65 on lockdown, and this is our 18th yoga class together virtually, I think. So that's quite something, huh? I have some exciting things to share with you. I had to get a new vacuum, and that's always exciting. It's amazing how much you can love appliances after you turn a certain age. I remember for my bridal shower, someone gave me an iron and an ironing board and some laundry baskets and made a joke about how, like, I know it's not exciting now, but I'll tell you, I was super excited to get a new vacuum yesterday, and also super grossed out by how much it's sucking up and how much in filth we were living and didn't even realize it with the old vacuum. So there's that. Obviously, I need to wash my hair. So sorry about that. I don't know what else. I don't know. I guess I don't have anything very exciting to tell you. So we're just going to get right into it, okay? I want you to please lie on your back, arms up, palms up, same as always, okay? I am going to move back onto my blanket and talk you through the beginning. And I know last week I said we were going to do back bends today, but I was looking back on some comments that some of you have left over the last 2 months, and it appears that back bends are not very popular with you guys. So we're not going to do back bends today. We'll throw a couple little back bends in, but we're not going to focus on back bends. I think what we'll do is what we did a few weeks ago, because that seemed to go over well with all of you. I'm just going to move through my practice and share it with you and talk it through with you, and hopefully what I need today will resonate with you as well. Okay? So get your mat, get your strap, okay? Grab a strap. If you have a blanket or a towel or something that you can perch up on at some point, just put that nearby. But otherwise, lie on your back, arms out, palms up. Okay? I'm glad you're here. I've got my water. I went to Starbucks this morning, and there was no line. So that was kind of a really cool way to start my morning, to not have to wait in a line of 30 cars. That was exciting. And then I ran to the farmer's market because we are going through an obscene amount of fruit right now, and I never want to discourage my kids from eating fruit or salad. So I think as more yummy fruit comes out, like strawberries and blackberries and blueberries and watermelon, I'm going to be going there often with my mask and sometimes waiting in line. But watermelon has been super good so far, and it's only, what is it? May. It's May. Watermelons have been great, so if you haven't bought one, pick yourself up one. All right, so you're lying on your back, arms out, palms up. This is the time when I miss being able to interact with you, because in real life classes, not that this isn't, but this is a virtual real life class. In real life classes, there's always those few minutes in the beginning of class when some of you will come up to me and say, oh, I went skiing this weekend and I twisted my knee, or I was gardening for a couple hours and my back is super tight, or, you know, some of you have ongoing issues like tightness in the inside of your wrist, and it kind of radiates into your thumb a little bit, and that kind of screws up how you can do some poses. And also during class, I usually remember to say, hey, does anyone have anything new they need to talk about? New injuries, new worries, new concerns? I always ask if anyone's pregnant, and people always laugh because that's so funny. But it's a good time for me to get to know you better a little bit and get to know you physically, what's going on with you. And then during class, if you tell me you have a back issue and I see you doing something and I see you wince, I can go over to you and I can say, hey, try it this way instead, or maybe don't do this, or maybe do this but do it really cautiously and pull out of it if it feels worse. And I miss that with you, because I have to assume that you know those things, that you know when to not do something or when to not go deeper into something. And I hate having to assume that because I don't know all of who's doing this class. You know, I don't have a roster like I normally would. So, with that said, if we do anything at any time, I feel like I should have said this 8 weeks ago. Maybe I did. I hope I did. But if we do anything at any time, or I instruct you to move into anything at any time that doesn't feel good for you, then by all means, you shouldn't do it, right? Especially if it's aggravating something that's already an injury or already a concern or a worry. You shouldn't do it. I'm not there with you to give you a substitute. I wish I was. But if you find that there's something bothering you every single time we do cat and cow, or every single time we do downward facing dog or something like that, message me on Facebook, or message Parks and Rec, or email Parks and Rec, and just let one of us know that that's an issue, and I will get back to you and I will give you a little bit more of a personalized pose or program so that you can still participate, but you don't feel crummy when you're done, because that's not what I want for you. Okay? So you're lying on your back, arms are out, palms are up. You've been breathing, right? In and out through your nose, drawing the breath into the low belly, holding it there for a second or two, and then slowly exhaling. So these pants have grown on me. I'm glad I got 2 pairs of black and then the olive ones, which I haven't worn yet. But I do like them. So I do need to shave too. Gosh, I need to really just take better care. Oh, man. Oh, I remember something else exciting I wanted to tell you. Are you familiar with EOS, the lip balms? They come in those round balls. My favorite, I have 2 favorites, lemon and mango. I like the lemon because it has an SPF, and in the summer, well, really all year long, I keep that one in my car and I put it on all the time continuously. And I like the mango because it's got a slightly different consistency than the other ones. It's a little bit softer and a little creamier, which sounds weird, but in my opinion, that's the way it is. So I was trolling Amazon the other day, which I do often, and I found that EOS had a tinted selection of lip balms. They have 3 different colors. They have like a reddish, a pinkish one, and then like one that's more of like a caramel color, which is a thorn in my side in life, that I can't find an SPF lip balm that goes on kind of like a creamy, soft, golden caramel color, and I think I may have found it. So I'm pretty excited. I'm waiting for Amazon to come tomorrow. Unfortunately, not today, but pretty excited about that. All right, keep the arms out, keep the palms up, pull the knees in, and instead of dropping left to right, the first thing you're gonna do is extend the legs straight up in the air, press out through the backs of your knees, pull the toes down, and flex your feet. So the last 2, maybe 3 classes, definitely 2 classes, we talked a lot about the 4 corners of your feet. So the 4 corners of your feet, for those of you that maybe are just jumping onto this class, are the ball of your foot, the pinky toe side, the inner heel, and then the outer heel of your foot. So if you're pressing out through the 4 corners of your feet, your toes are pulling back and you're pressing out across the top front of your foot as well as the bottom of your foot. And when you do that, you engage muscularly all the way up your shins on the inside and the outside. And muscular engagement is important in yoga because it gives you a lot of stability. So the more used to you can get to, I don't know if that was grammatically correct, the more used to you can get to, the more you can get comfortable with engaging the 4 corners of your feet in as many poses as possible and muscularly energizing the lower legs and then hugging the kneecap to the bone and letting that work up into the quads, the more stable you'll be in so many of your poses, because so many of our poses involve standing, right? And you don't want to feel super wobbly all the time in your poses. You want to feel like you're hugging in muscularly to a midline. So the midline is an imaginary dotted line that runs up and down the middle of your body. So if you were a gingerbread cookie and you had that imaginary line that went straight down the middle, if somebody cut you in half and pulled the two halves apart, you would be very symmetrical looking, right? But as people, even though we might look symmetrical as humans, we're not muscularly. We've always got a stronger side, or maybe we've got like a stronger calf over here, but a stronger quad over here. And those are the kind of nuances that we have to play with and figure out as we go through our practice. But hugging into the midline and playing with the four corners of the feet to engage from the ground up are very good ways to start to bring stability into poses that might otherwise be a little bit wobbly for you. So even though today we're not focusing on any one type of pose, we're going to pay attention to hugging into the midline and just trying to feel stable in our standing poses. And our standing poses traditionally are lunges, warriors, extended side angles, triangles, well, not so much the balances like tree and things of that nature, but also poses where you want to hug in. So we'll throw a little bit of those on at the end too, but we're just going to move today. Not a ton of instruction. I always say that, and then it always ends up being a ton of instruction because I can't help myself, but we're just going to move and flow. And when I do give instruction, I'm going to try my best to remember to give instruction that encourages you to hug into the midline as well as engage from the ground up by playing with the four corners of your feet. So your legs are still up in the air, right? And they might be getting really, really tired, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, when is she going to shut up? I'm going to shut up now. You're going to bend your knees. Don't bring your feet to the floor, but drop your legs to the right and come on into a twist. So legs are down on the ground. You're paying attention to the left arm because the legs are going to the right, so it's the left arm that you're focusing on keeping down, snuggled into the ground from the back of the shoulder out through the fingertips. And you're looking straight up or you're looking towards your left hand. That's how it works when you twist. I was talking to my brother earlier. He lives in Texas and we're a couple years apart, but we talk more now. Well, I mean, by now, I mean like over the last 15 years than we ever did when we lived in the same house together. But we were talking as I was walking the dog this morning, and I was telling him about this Tabata class that I have a love-hate relationship with. It's, if you go online, you go into YouTube, you Google self-workouts, and then you get all these quick workout classes that Self Magazine offers. And it's the one that's like 21 minutes and 4 seconds. It claims it's a 10-minute class. It takes about 20 minutes, but 5 minutes are warm-up, 5 minutes are cool-down, and then the 10 minutes in the middle are super intense and like go, 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 and you sweat like a pig and your heart rate gets up there like crazy. And I've been doing it now. I do it 3 times a week in between, you know, yoga and walking, and I've been doing it for, I guess, like most of quarantine, maybe like 7 out of the, well, someone said this is week 10. I don't know. I've been doing it for a bit now. But I was kind of excited the other day because bring your knees up to center. Come on into happy baby or one hand on each kneecap. And if you're doing one hand on each kneecap, let the weight of your legs pull your knees wide and down. If you're doing happy baby, pull your kneecaps into your armpit area. Get the bottoms of your feet to face the ceiling. And if you're holding your big toes, pull the toes down, engage the four corners of the feet. Right? Just practice doing it in almost every pose that you can, and feel how it muscularly engages you versus just letting you softly play with the pose, which is totally fine too. Like sometimes that's what you want to do, but you want to feel stability, and that's what we're kind of playing with a little today. We're sort of talking about hugging everything into the middle and feeling more stable in our poses. So knees are in, drop them over to your left, anchor them down on the ground, and then pay attention to the right arm from the shoulder blade out through the fingertips. You're looking straight up or towards the right hand. So what I was saying to my brother about this Tabata class is that you start with the warm-up, and it sounds super, super stupid, but you do 4 different things to start to warm up, and you do them each twice. So you do jumping jacks, caterpillar, which is yoga, You do a couple planks, which is yoga. You do mountain climbers, which I would hate to see a video of myself doing, but I do think I've gotten a little bit better. And then what else do you do? What's the fourth one? Sometimes it's push-ups. It varies. So I was telling him that I'm kind of proud of myself because I'm not coordinated. I could never do Zumba. I was never a dancer. I swam. I kind of played soccer. I am not coordinated. I'm not coordinated. I'm not the smoothest yogi. I love yoga. I can practice yoga. I can get myself into some bizarre poses, but I'm not super smooth in the process. Some people look like dancers when they practice yoga. That's not me. But jumping jacks, for the first time in a really long time, when I first did this Tabata class, I found really, really complicated because I couldn't coordinate my arms and my legs. I literally would stop to try to get one and then not be able to pick up the other one. And 30 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but 30 seconds of continuous jumping jacks when you're, you know, in your 40s and haven't done jumping jacks for a really long time is a lot trickier than it sounds. And just last Thursday, and then when I did Tabata again yesterday, it was the first time that I was able to do the 30 seconds continuously without tripping over my own feet for both times that we did it in the warm-up. So I was kind of excited about that. So that was a huge story just for that. Sorry. All right, bring your knees up to center. Happy baby, or one hand on each kneecap. Again, letting the weight of your arms pull you wide and pull you down. All right, so roll over to your right, come on up onto hands and knees with me. If you've got a blanket or a towel or something underneath your tush, now is the time to move it to the side. Spread your fingers nice and wide. So the way that you would press out through the four corners of your feet when you're doing a pose like this is just to curl your toes under. You don't need to do that. You can leave your feet out flat so that the tops of your feet are pressing into the mat. It's totally up to you. I don't really have a preference when I'm doing this. If I curl my toes under, it's because I know I'm going to go right up into a dog and it's a smoother transition. If I don't, because in some classes you might do cat and cow and go back into a child's pose, then I'll leave them out flat. But you do whatever you want. It's fine. So we're going to just start to curl our spine, lengthening from the tailbone out through the crown of the head and moving on our breath. So you inhale up, exhale and release. Inhale up, exhale and release. Keep moving, move at your own pace. Maybe you're going slower or faster than I am. Go at whatever feels best for you. Okay, do one more. Come into your tabletop position. So from here, move my blanket out of the way. From here, you're going to come up onto your knees and you're going to extend your right leg straight out to your side. And you want to try to get the bottom of your foot flat on the ground. So you're rolling onto the inside part of your foot. You can't really do four corners here because the outside edge is always going to lift a tiny bit, but we're just doing this as a side body stretch. So the right hand is going to slide down the outside of the right leg. I hope you have slippery pants like me. The left arm is going to come up and you're going to slide the right leg down as you reach across with the left arm, lengthening the side body, which is your underarm, down through the outside of your hip. Find your breath. Okay, release that side. Come back to cat and cow. We're just going to do a couple. I hope that if some of you are newer to yoga, or if you've been practicing with me for a while or with somebody else for a while, I hope that the quarantine has encouraged you to start a home practice, right? Left leg out, bottom of the foot down. A home practice, I think, can be intimidating because very often we feel like so just watch and follow along, okay? I think that we very often feel like when we're practicing at home, we have to do things in sequential order, and we have to come up with the right combination, and we have to make it as much like a class led by a teacher as we can. And the thing is, you don't have to do any of that. You just have to do what feels good for you and what makes you feel better. So, cat and cow. Walk up to the very front corners of your mat. Right leg out behind you, toes curled under. So you're pressing out through the four corners of the foot. The toes are curled under on the mat, and you're just lengthening out through the heel. So the body doesn't shift back. The heel just presses outward. And then bring it in. Let's do the same thing with the left leg. Press out through the heel, but don't let the hips pull back. You're lengthening the leg by just extending out, not shifting your whole body. And then pull it back in. Widen your knees a little bit and just start to rock your hips a little bit from side to side. Getting a little bit of a spinal lengthening there. Come on back to center. We're going to go up into our first downward facing dog. So curl the fingers back. If you can see, I'll do it back here. If you can see that. So see how my fingers are lifted and I'm leaning into the bottom part of the heel of my hand. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to roll my fingers down and grip my mat and really engage with my foundation. So heels of the hand, fingers lift up. Roll forward onto the fingers, grip the mat, curl the toes under, lift the hips, come on up into your dog. And find your breath here. We can build so much inner heat just by holding a dog or a plank. And we can also really lengthen the spine, lengthen the hamstrings, everything. So I don't think you can see what I'm doing, but I can feel myself doing it, and I want you to do it too. So come up on your toes a little and bend your knees. Lift the tailbone up high towards the ceiling. Straighten the legs, drop the heels. You're just bringing height to your spine. Nice deep breathing, drop the head. Hang in there. Now you're going to walk your hands back to meet your feet. You can bend your knees if you need to. Straight legs will give you a slightly different hamstring opener than if you bend your knees, but you do whatever feels best. Cross your arms at the elbows and hang. All right, release your fingertips and roll all the way up. One vertebrae at a time. Your head is the last thing up, and you're back at standing. Okay, so let's just find a little bit of a flow, maybe. Let's start with a simple sun salutation, okay? There's a lot in a sun salutation that we can hug into the midline for and try to find a better source of stability. So we're at the front of our mat. We're going to roll the head of our arm bones back. Inhale our arms up. Exhale. Come on all the way forward, fingertips to the floor. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale and fold. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. So let's do right foot back, long lunge. Take a big step back, right? Now, lunge. If we've got our hands on the floor, it's easy to feel stable. If we bring our hands up, we start to wobble a little bit, right? So now, lift the toes on the front foot, engage with the front foot into the ground. You're on the ball of the back foot. Press out through the heel while pressing firmly down into the ball of the back foot. Hug everything into your dotted imaginary midline, and then sweep the arms up. If you can bend deeper into the back knee, you'll feel more stable. I don't know why that's a fact, but it is. Big breath in. Exhale the breath, bring the hands to the floor. We're going to step back into dog. So your right leg is going to feel different now than your left leg because you just stretched it out really long and you opened up that hip a little. Inhale forward into a plank. Engage the core. Knees to the floor. Chin and chest to the floor. Tushes up in the air like a glowworm. Slide through, flip the feet. Find your high cobra. Remember arm creases. They're not facing me, they're facing in towards one another, right? Curl your toes under, lift your hips. Come on up into your downward facing dog. Now let's walk our feet forward. Coming into standing forward bend. At the front of our mat, let's cross our arms at the elbows. Drop our head. Hands to the floor. Inhale up, flat back. Arch your back when you do this. It'll feel much, much, much better. Exhale and fold. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale and fold. Left foot back, super long lunge. Try to make your lunge on this side just as long as your lunge on the other side. Remember what we said, hands on the floor, you feel super stable. But if you want to play a little bit, bring the hands up, press into the ball of the back foot and out through the heel. So it's the four corners of the foot. Lift the toes on the front foot, engage the four corners, arms to your side, and then sweep them up, coming into a high lunge. Nice big breathing here. One more inhale. Exhale the hands to the floor. Back into downward facing dog. Drop the heels, bend the knees, lift the hips high. Figure out how to make this feel good. Inhale forward into a plank. Engage the core here. Knees to the floor. Chin and chest to the floor. Hips are going to stay high. Slide through. Press up. Little bend in the elbows. And then unclench your butt. Come on up into dog. Walk the feet up to meet the hands. Standing forward bend, front of your mat. Drop the head, cross at the elbows. Release the arms, roll all the way up. One vertebrae at a time. Coming on up to stand. This isn't a shirt I usually wear for yoga. And the neck is stretched out because this is an old shirt. And every time I forward bend, it falls over my mouth and my nose like I'm wearing a mask. And the mask, obviously, I'll wear it anywhere I need to for as long as I need to, but it makes me feel claustrophobic. And I can only do it for so long before I feel like I have to run out of the store and rip it off. So the mask, the shirt, is doing that to me a little. So let's go a little wider with our feet. We're going to come down onto our fingertips about a foot in front of our feet. And we want to be able to support ourselves so that we can go up on our toes. Ooh, did you hear all that cracking? Lift the balls of lift the heel of the foot high. And then roll down on the heels, lift the toes up. Try to get the arch up too. If you keep the legs straight and press out through the back of the knees, this is a really good hamstring opener. Roll forward onto the toes, lift the heel, lift the arch. Roll back onto the heel, lift up the toes as well as the arch. Press out through the back of the knee, get this huge hamstring opener that goes from the back of the hip down into the knee. And then come onto a flat foot, cross the arms at the elbows, forward bend. Release the arms, roll all the way up. So, let's do our quick shoulder opener, my favorite, so simple, so effective. Right hand on the left shoulder, left hand to the back of the right elbow. Push the arm into you and feel this in the back of the right shoulder. Your shoulder blade is sliding off your back a little, your wing, right? One of my very first yoga teachers used to call your shoulder blades your wings. So right now the wing is coming off your back. And then go up. And let's do the same thing on the other side. So left hand on the right shoulder, right hand to the back of the left elbow. You're pressing the arm into yourself so that you feel this in the back. And the wing, the shoulder blade, is sliding off your back a little. And then come on upright. Just a slightly different variation of a shoulder opener. Go up. So here's where we're going to find a little bit of a back bend, okay? We are going to, I'm going to stand sideways just so I can show you. But you're going to plant your feet. I like hip width. You can do whatever. We're going to go straight up with our arms, interlace them, and press out. And then we're going to bend our knees the tiniest bit. Hips go forward, head and shoulders go back. Not a huge back bend. Big breath in. Exhale. Come on up. And then I always like to counterbalance that with a forward bend. So forward bend, cross at the elbows. Okay, so another super simple side lengthening pose is, this is one where you wonder why you didn't think to do it before on your own, because it's so ridiculous. You're going to hold your left wrist with your right hand. Arms go up. The right arm is doing all the work here. It's pulling the left arm out of the socket a little and lengthening it. And then you're going to switch. And switch again. And switch one more time. Nice. Now, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see again. We're going to interlace our fingers behind our back. We're going to forward bend. Squeeze our palms together and just start to lift our hands up, straightening our arms. Not hyperextending the shoulders or the elbows. Release the hands. Come on up. All right, so what do I feel like doing next? I feel like drinking some water. I have lemon in my water. That's one of my favorite things. Let's go sideways. I'm going to turn my mat. I'm not going to turn my mat, but we're going to go sideways. So shimmy your feet out wide. Turn your toes in a little and then lift your toes so you're engaging the four corners of the feet. Forward bend. Drop the head. Stay on your fingertips. Straighten through the backs of the knees. Come on up to a flat back. Leave your fingertips on the floor for this one. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. Don't let your hips move forward. Anchor them where they are. Just lengthen out. Exhale and fold. Inhale up. Exhale and release. One more. Inhale up. Exhale and release. Okay, come on up onto a flat back. Move your right hand so you're on your fingertips directly under your nose. Left hand comes to left hip. You can go into a flat hand if you want, but fingertips for me always feels like I get a better extension, but you decide. Twist yourself open over the left shoulder. Extend the left arm straight up. Big breath in. Hand to the floor. Forward bend. Inhale up to a flat back. Move the left hand to directly under your nose, right? Right hand to the right hip. Twist open. Extend the right arm straight up. Full breath in. Exhale the hand to the floor. Now we're going to come up like we're holding a beach ball out in front of us, flat back. Come all the way up to stand. Get your legs back together. Good hip opener, right? Okay, let's lay on our back for some bridge. A little bit of back bending, but not a ton. I guess I will turn my mat for this. I like it better when I do this in front of the windows. I don't know why I didn't today, but there's more room and there's more light over there. So I apologize. Lay on your back. And for just a second, am I in the video? I guess so. Hands on your stomach, spread your fingers, tower your legs in towards one another. And let's just be with our breath for a second, okay? Feel the breath, inhale, and the belly puffs up a little. Exhale, and it's like you're sucking it in, right? Inhale, exhale. Feel your breath for just a couple breaths here. One more inhale and exhale. All right, so for bridge is a tricky one because if you practice yoga for any period of time, you probably have your own setup that you prefer. Do what I'm asking you to do the first time and then switch it up however you want to after that, okay? So we're all going to do the same thing the first time. Knees are bent. You're going to walk your feet in a little closer to your butt. You can't see your feet, but you want to feel like they're about hip width apart. Okay, and we're going to do a moving bridge to start with, and then we'll do a couple that stick. So, moving bridge is not as much of a setup. There's not as much of anatomy for me to talk you through. It's more literally just moving on your breath. Okay, so let's do a couple of those. Make your robot arms. Can you see my arms? These are robot arms. Arms are pressing in towards your rib cage. Fingers are spread nice and wide. You're pressing down through the backs of your arms, and you're making a tripod that goes from the back of one arm, up the arm, across the shoulder blades, and then down the other arm. So on an inhale, lift the hips, and then as you exhale, lower down. Moving bridge, it can be kind of sloppy. It doesn't have to be anatomically great. Just move on the breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then one more on the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. So now we're going to do a bigger one. And I want you to think of a couple things, okay? So I know for me, when I do a bigger one, I like to walk my feet in. I like to roll my shoulder blades together under my back. And as I lift my hips, I walk my feet in more. But notice my full foot is flat on the floor, and if I lift my toes, I'm engaging with the four corners. I'm not going to let my knees go crazy out to the sides. I'm going to keep them going pretty straight out from my hips. My thighs, my stomach are going up towards the ceiling. But then when I roll my upper arms in, my chest goes towards my chin. That's what you want. It's a ton of engagement. It's not super relaxing, but it's a nice, comfy, big supported back bend, and muscularly, everything is hugging into the midline. Take another full breath in. Exhale the breath. One more inhale. And exhale. And then we're going to counterbalance with a happy baby or one hand on each kneecap to do a opposite. Find a little movement. Okay, let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides, hands come onto the stomach again, the low belly. Close your eyes, find your breath. One more inhale. And exhale. All right, so we're going to come on up to sit. And if you have a blanket or a towel or something to sit on, that would be helpful. We're going to do a little bit of breath work. It's called fire breath. Super easy. Probably a good one to do when we're not all together, because I know that breath work makes people feel self-conscious, and this one in particular, because you snort a little bit. So, get in a comfortable position. For me, it would always be legs wide, but for you, it may be cross-legged. that just bothers one of my knees. So I do it. I don't do it often. I do it if I don't have a choice. Does that make sense? So sit up straight and tall. Reach underneath you. Pull your tush out to the side so that you feel like you're sitting up on your sit bones. Yeah? Head of the arm bones roll back. Shoulders drop. Hands are just resting comfortably on your legs. So fire breath, you do 3 quick inhales, 1 long exhale, all done through the nose. Okay? So it's 3 quick inhales, followed by a longer exhale. I'm a little stuffy, so I'm on the snort end of the spectrum today. You may be nice and smooth and quiet. Bless your heart. I'm not that precious today. So, ready? Let's do a couple together, and then we'll just go on our own for maybe 30 seconds, okay? So inhale 3 times, exhale once. Again.
Mom?
1 more time. And exhale. So now what I want you to do is close your eyes. We're going to keep doing this for another 30 seconds or so. And I want you to try to find a little bit of a comfortable rhythm. So you're going to go on your breath, but you don't have to talk in your own head and say 3 inhales, 1 long exhale. Just move on your breath, okay? Close your eyes. Make this a little bit of a meditative 30 seconds for you. Try to block out whatever else is going on around you. And we've got about 30 seconds to fire breathe. All right? Keep your eyes closed. Go back to a normal breath. And as you're sitting, whether you're cross-legged or you're sitting wide-legged like I am, I want you to imagine that your pelvis area from your belly button down is like a big mixing bowl. And from the belly button up is a big wooden spoon. And you're very gently going to keep the pelvic area still, the belly button down still. But you're going to make big circles with your upper body, mixing whatever's in that bowl. So why don't we go counterclockwise to start with, because I'm a little dyslexic and that's what I always do. Mix the bowl. Go in front of you, go out to the sides, lean behind you a little bit. Come back to the center. Let's go to the other direction. Just gently opening up the hips, lengthening the spine a little bit more. Just stirring things around a little, right? Stirring the pot, but in a good, non-confrontational, ugly Facebook way. Which there's been a lot of lately. All right, come on back to the center. Oh, you hear my dog? Come on back to the center. Now everybody go wide-legged. Walk your hands out in front of you. Just come down to where you're comfortable. Walk your hands up. Eyes are closed. Bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Lengthen out the left side of your neck. Roll your head back behind you so your chin is up. You're opening up the throat. Left ear to left shoulder. And then all the way down, chin to the chest. Find your breath here, inhaling through the nose, out through the nose. And we're going to gently bring our head back up to center. Open our eyes. And rather than lay down and go into Shavasana, we're going to count that as our meditative period because we did a little breath work, we did some gentle stretching. It felt pretty good to me, so I hope it felt pretty good to you too. We're going to bring our hands to our heart in prayer. Take a big full breath in. Exhale the breath. One more time, inhale. Namaste. Thank you guys. Thank you for another virtual yoga class. I appreciate it so much that you keep coming back. I do check the numbers, and nothing will ever beat the first 2 weeks. The very first week we had over 400 views on YouTube, but I think that's when everybody was excited and thought this was unique and interesting and just wanted to try new stuff. And now we're all completely over it and nothing about it is cute anymore. So I think the people that are practicing now are probably people that regularly practice yoga. I might be wrong, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. But either way, I'm so thankful that you're practicing with me and you're allowing me into your living room and you're trusting me to guide you through a practice or two every week. And I super appreciate it. So stay safe, wear your mask, keep yourself 6 feet apart. And I will see you again in a couple days if I don't see you walking on Ridge or one of the other millions of streets that the dog and I wander down aimlessly every day. So have a great afternoon, okay? Take care, guys. Bye.